city. DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast. Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it. Yeah. Who with me? Let's get it. Yeah. Who with me? Yeah. I'm from the city. DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast. Dre and Willsy is the one.
He the one, nigga.
So let's breeze, baby.
He the one.
With me.
So the breeze, baby.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Welcome back, everyone, to the 1130 podcast. What's good, everybody doing out there? It is Wednesday. We back at it, man. It's 11:30 a.m. It's time for the podcast, man. Good morning to everyone who's listening on EB Radio this morning. For those who are watching on YouTube, yes, like I said, man, I'm back at it. Episode 101, man, for real. We're going to continue this thing, man. For speaking of YouTube, for everyone who's joining me on YouTube this morning, make sure you subscribe if you're new to the 1130 podcast. Subscribe, like it, leave a comment, man, for real. Share it, do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, like I said, back at it, episode 101 here on EB Radio and YouTube. It's time for the podcast, man. I got a great guest, dope guest lined up this week for the 1130 podcast. My guy, Jimmy, is coming to us from York, Pennsylvania. He's the host of the Sexy Cool Lounge podcast. Yes, man, I said the Sexy Cool Lounge podcast. He's going to be joining me here with some dope vibes, positive energy, radiating, man, some positive energy and dope vibes, man, all the way on this episode. It's going to be great. But before we get to that, you guys, shout out my guest who was on last week on episode 100. Yo, Gator, Aretha, Quan John, Helen, Chris, my man A. Millie. I want to thank all y'all, man. Everyone who's sending the shout out videos also. Thank you so much for supporting and watching, listening, liking, all that, man, for real, to the 1130 podcast. We at episode 101, man. We gonna kill it. We gonna get it to another 100, man, for real. But yo, man, we about to waste no more time. We gonna get into the show, for real. My man Jimmy, man, what's going on?
What's going on, brother, man? Let me first say congratulations on your 100 episodes, brother. That's
Thank you.
Cool, bro.
Hey, yes.
Cool,
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it was a blast last week. And we here, like I said, on episode 101. It's another banger. And like I was saying, I was privileged enough to be on your podcast. You reached out to me, and since I've been doing my thing, going on 2 years next month. Just having people, who are like-minded, such as myself, and have that, dope mindset and, positive energy, to reach out to me, to be on their platform. It was such an honor, and to be honest with you, I didn't even think you were really, keeping up or, watching the 1130 podcast. So it all goes back to a guest that I had on at the beginning of the year, who was saying, you just never know who's listening or who's watching. So, once again, Jimmy, thank you for joining me here on the 1130 podcast this week. How's it going?
It's my pleasure, man. Everything is cool. And listen, you'd be surprised. When I reached out to you, I told you that I said, I had been following you for a minute, man. And, just because every time, sometimes people don't necessarily always comment on something, but when your vibe is like-minded and you just kind of just keeping your ear to what they're doing, man, when I finally reached out to you, I said, you're doing some positive things and I've been watching you for a minute, man. And, I want to go ahead and bring you on the show. It was real. And when you came on, the vibe was just like, cool, man. You know what I'm saying? It was everything that I thought it would be. And we've just cultivated that fellowship of podcasting in a like-minded way. And that's real cool, man. And I really appreciate you reaching out to me and extending the offer for me to come on to your show. You know what I'm saying? It's all cool.
Yes, man. No problem, man. The vibe is always dope here on the 1130 podcast, and as well with your podcast, the Sexy Cool Lounge. But how's life treating you, though?
Life is good, man. Listen, it stays positive. I always try to keep it positive and just radiate that vibe, man. So life is good, and I can't complain, man. How is things up your way?
Man, up in my way, it's going lovely. It's November now, so this month I'll be celebrating a birthday of mine. So I'll be 31 years old. So
right.
I got to figure out some plans what I'm going to do for there though.
No doubt.
You know, I'm just loving it, man. You know, here on the podcast each week on EB Radio, just join with everyone. And like I said, talk to like-minded people such as yourself. You know, you talked about radiating vibes, man, and all about, you know, positive energy. Your podcast is very motivational, inspiration. You know, like I said, on spreading positive energy on good vibes. I also want to thank your mom who, you know, when you sent that shout out video and that comment about that was really awesome though. But how long you been radiating vibes, man, and doing, you know, this awesome thing with your podcast and stuff?
Well, here's kind of the thing about it, man, is that I started the podcast about 2 years ago, right? But the vibe for the podcast has been like, just like in the back of my head for the longest time. And I never really did anything with it because I felt like I wasn't good enough to be a podcaster, right? So I sat on it for like 2.5 years, man. And it just got to a point where I just had to not overthink it and just do it. And when I did that, everything just opened up. The floodgates opened up in a real sense. You know what I'm saying? And I just try to continue to just put that energy out to people. Do you, okay? Do what your passion is. Do what you feel. Don't overthink it. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? I sat on it for almost 2 years, man, when I really didn't have to. And once I mustered up the courage to really just say, I'm going to go for it and I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it, my vision, and I'm not doing it for anybody. I'm just going to do it for myself. And you look up today, I'm in 34 countries with downloaded episodes, and I could have been doing that 2 years ago. You know, two years prior to when I actually launched Sexy Cool Lounge, but I was overthinking it. I was self-doubting myself, and that is the inspiration and the courage that I try to reach out to other people through the various episodes and having like-minded people on like you that say, hey, stick with your plan, stick with your vision, stick with your inspiration, because that's what's going to get you through. And that is the real, because there's only one you. You know, there's only one Dre that does 1130 podcasts. You know what I'm saying? Only one. There's only one. And you do it the way your vision is, and people like that. So I try to continue to just reach out to people on that level and say, continue doing you. And if you don't know what you want to do, hit us up. Follow us. Let's be inspired together, and we'll just cultivate a really positive energy, good vibes only type of universe together.
Okay, man. I like that. I really do. You talked about, you know, overthinking, man. Every week when I do the podcast, going into it, you know, maybe writing down a couple of notes or so, I always overthink it. And then, you know, it never goes, you know, how you actually plans it in your head, you know, and I just, you know, be so nervous. And they say, you know, you ain't nervous, you know, you don't really, you know, love it or so. But, you know, I always overthink, and I have to tell myself, stop overthinking it. And it just let it flows, man. But you also spoke on, you know, you didn't think you were good enough to be a podcaster. Why, where did that come from?
I think just from wanting to come out the gate hot, because it is my baby. It is my passion. It is what I ultimately do. And I think when you're that passionate about something, whether it's podcasting or anything else, you just want everything to be picture perfect right out the gate. And I think that anxiety was holding me back. And it just got to a point where I could not let the anxiety of being perfect out the gate and not even starting stop me. I couldn't let that happen anymore. So I just had to do it. Didn't matter what my first episode was. It didn't matter what my studio looked like. It didn't matter anything. All that mattered was it's time for me to launch the Sexy Cool Lounge. And that whole experience is what I try to radiate out to other people. Stop overthinking. You're good enough. Just do it. It doesn't matter who listens. It doesn't matter who likes it or doesn't like it. What matters is that you decided to do something and you stuck with it and you did it. And everything else will fall into place the way that it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes in life, we try to start something, we try to navigate it, and we try to direct it all at the same time. And sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you just got to say, all right, today is the day that I start. Today is the day that I'll be consistent off of what I started yesterday. And next thing you know, you look over your shoulder 2 years later and look at what you've built. But you got to just let it fall into place as it's supposed to, and not try to see the start, the beginning, and the end of everything. Because sometimes you're going to end up just psyching yourself out before you even start, like I did. And I held on to it for 2 years when I really didn't have to. If I had just mustered up the energy to just say, you know what, let's do it. Doesn't matter. Just do it. You know, we'd be in a different place, but that's neither here nor there at this point, bro.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I love that, man. How did you deal with all those emotions? Because I know when I started my podcast, definitely, you know, how do I sound? How do I look? You know, was definitely a big factor what played into me. But obviously, I just, you know, kept going. You know, my brother was like, yo, man, you know, you should start this podcast. Because I always, you know, I didn't know what a podcast was, you know, before then. But, you know, I always knew I wanted to do something in this form or fashion, definitely with wrestling. If everyone who follows me know I'm a big wrestling fanatic. So I always
big
was,
wrestling
you know,
fan, bro.
Big. Yeah, I know, right? Big wrestling fan. So, you know, that was like my main focus. But, you know, once I got into it and got in the groove, I kind of like, you know, changed a little directing and changed a little things up, and just, you know, like you said, things just fell into places. But, you know, how did you handle all those emotions and anxieties and stuff?
I think it came to a point, brother, where I couldn't let the anxiety and the emotions stop me from doing what it was that my passion was. It just got to a point where the passion was stronger than the anxiety of not doing it. Because I would continue to look up, and I hadn't done it. I would continue to look up and say, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then you look up 6 months later, I'm still in the same place that I was with the same anxiety, and I haven't even started. So it just got to a tipping point, if you will, where I just said, what the hell, do it. Doesn't matter how it sounds the first time out. Get a mic, get a recorder, do it. And that's it. That was it. That was the starting point. But how I handled it as far as the emotions and the anxiety was, it just got to a point, man, where I just had to let go. I had to like be on that ledge and jump. There was no more skirting on the edge. There was no more looking over, wondering what was going to happen. Was I going to fly? Was I going to fall? It was trust your vibe, trust your passion, trust your journey, and jump. And the moment I did that, man, all that anxiety, all that overthinking went away, man. It literally went away. And then it was just episode 1, episode 2. And you learn as you grow, you know.
Yeah.
You learn as you grow. I mean, you started out with wrestling, and now you've gone wrestling stronger, but you've also become more diverse in the 1130 podcast. You understand what I'm saying? Because you've grown. And that's what I'm trying to get other people to do. You may not be a podcaster. That might not be your passion, but whatever your passion is, stop overthinking it. Jump off that ledge and just fly. Trust your journey, trust your passion, trust your instinct, and fly. And as you fly, you'll fly stronger as you continue to fly, man.
Mm-hmm. You're right about that. So right about that, man. I agree with everything you just said, man. Because like you said, I did exactly start out just talking about wrestling, and I knew that, you know, not everybody, you know, love wrestling or like wrestling. They did at one point, but you know, time move on. You know, everybody go get older, and you know, things move on. But yeah, man, I just thought it, you know, would be very dope to be diverse and talk about a lot of different things, a lot of, you know, have different guests on. So,
but
totally.
And also to what you're saying is that the wrestling is what got you into dipping your feet into podcasting. That was your comfort zone. That's what you knew. That's what you talked about. And the more you got comfortable with that, the more you started to grow. The more you started to grow, the more you started to expand. Mm-hmm. And it just wasn't about wrestling anymore, but you were growing as a podcaster. You were growing as someone who is just like, I'm taking the 1130 podcast and I'm expanding it out. And maybe you didn't realize what it was going to be totally in the beginning, but now as you're cultivating it, it's turning into something really positive. And there are a lot of people that got their eyes on you. And there are a lot of people that are inspired by the things that you connect with them on, man. And that's what I've had my eye on when I've been watching you from afar, until that point was that I reached out to you and was like, yeah, I need to have you on because you're positive and you're doing some really good things. And I need other people in this world to hear you in your authenticity about what it is that you do, how you do it, and the reason you're doing it for other people and for yourself, brother.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. I really do appreciate those good words, man. Hey, but you guys, man, we having fun here on the 1130 podcast, man. Some dope vibes, for real, man. Good energy also. But we're going to move on here on the podcast. Speaking of good energy, you always say on your podcast, the Sexy Cool Lounge, good energy is a must, man. I always tell my fiance and everyone that I always encounter, good energy is a must. I said this probably not the best analogy, but when I was thinking of this this topic, good energy, I was thinking of it more so like an electric bill. You have an electric bill, you need to pay it. You need to pay it to keep the lights on. And that's good. Because when you walk in a dark house and you hit the switch, you want that light to come on. That's good. And if it don't, that's bad. You didn't pay the electric bill, et cetera, et cetera. So good energy is a must. You must pay the electric bill to keep it on. So different and good vibes can come on. But like I said, it may not be the best analogy, but Jimmy, you talk about it a lot on your podcast. Good energy.
Good vibes only, man, is all I want to be around, brother. To be honest with you, I have had negative energy around my vibe in life, and you come to a point where you realize that you have a choice. Okay, you can be around negative energy or you can be around positive energy. I choose to be around positive energy because I've been around negative energy, and I don't have to have negative energy around me. So when I preach about good vibes only, when I talk about it, when I just exude it in whatever way I can, because that's a choice, man. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I don't want to be miserable. I don't want miserable people around me. I realize things happen to people and we support each other. Absolutely. But then there are some people that misery loves company. I don't want to be around that. I have a choice. And I try to reach out to people in a way that says, you have a choice. You have a choice to either be positive energy or you have a choice to be negative energy. I choose to be positive. I choose to be around positive people. I choose to gravitate to that type of energy. And I have found that people gravitate to my energy in one form or another. And that's happy. That's positive. That's good vibes only, man. It's like, I don't want to just have good vibes only when I go on vacation. I want to wake up in the morning and have good vibes only. And good vibes only and positive energy for me starts with the self-love, self-awareness, and self-discovery of myself. If I don't start with good vibes only for me, how can I expect someone to give me the energy of good vibes? Because I'm radiating out something else that I'm not getting back. That's just kind of how I look at it. And that works for me. So I try to just run that out to everybody else that I come across. I try to always make sure that it is part of a focal point on the episodes that I put out for Sexy Cool Lounge podcast. And whether you meet me in person, whether you hear my voice or now see me on my first ever video podcast, 1130 podcast, it's all the same, man. It's all the same. It's good vibes only, positive energy, and just sexy, cool love, man.
Hey man, I dig it for real. I definitely dig it. You gotta start your day off, with some self-love, because if you not feeling, positive, how you wanna, hand that off to someone else, and you don't want to feel, any negative vibes, because people could definitely radiate that, man. You definitely talk about self-love and stuff. And on your post on Instagram, which I thought it was dope, you say be in love with yourself every minute of the way. Some people not in love with themselves. Some people don't love who they are, especially in this time that we live in 2021. But yeah, people is not really in love with themselves. Can you explain to my listeners and viewers how important it is to love yourself?
Absolutely, brother. So when I said, be in love with yourself, love yourself every minute, okay? There are so many people out there that disrespect themselves. They will respect somebody else before they respect themselves. They always give to other people in such a way that it is a detriment to themselves, okay? So what I'm trying to say and trying to make an awareness of is love yourself every minute. It should not be that you like who you are if you're getting ready to go out on a date and you dress a certain way and now all of a sudden you feeling yourself, all right? It shouldn't be that if you're at work and you did something extraordinary or something good and now all of a sudden you patting yourself on the back. It shouldn't be just for that moment. It should be from the time you wake up in the morning to the time that you go to bed at night. And for me, that pinnacle is sexy cool. When you feeling sexy cool about yourself, and everybody has felt that, man and woman. When guys get ready to go out on dates or you taking your wife out or whatever, and you look like, you look at yourself in the mirror and you dress down to the nines or whatever, that's sexy cool, okay? You're a woman, you getting ready to go out on a date with a guy and you looking at yourself and you making sure that you on point before you step out and grab your keys, that's sexy cool. I'm saying that's the love of yourself every minute. It should be you feeling that way about yourself and that confidence all the time. Not just when it needs to be validated by somebody else or a particular situation. Love yourself enough every day to radiate your vibe. I say it at the end of every podcast. Love yourself enough to radiate your vibe. And when you grow stronger in loving yourself, your vibe radiates out even further. And when that happens, you start to recognize how people start to gravitate to you because of the energy that you're putting out that they're vibing with. But it starts with you first. So love yourself every minute, man. When you wake up in the morning, you should be really feeling good about yourself. And there are days when we have our moments. I'm not saying that it's an everyday 100% thing, but the more times that you feel good and you love yourself and you're confident about yourself, you'll have better days than you do not so good days. I'm not picture perfect. I'm a human being just like everybody else is. I have my moments when I have a little self-doubt or I'm not just really feeling all on point. I have those days, absolutely I do. But I'm not gonna let those days affect me in a way that it just changes my vibe 100% totally. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't. It doesn't. And I'm trying to just reach out to people in that way because there are a lot of people that don't know how, even though they may want to, they don't know how to change that vibe. They don't know how to love themselves because they've never either had someone show them or they've never been in an environment where they could cultivate that. And if I can do anything to be at peace with my vibe, it is I will reach out in whatever way I can. And right now it is the podcast and just continue to just put those good vibes and positive energy out there so people can at least hear it. And it hopefully will inspire them to say, hey, okay, I hear what he's saying. I'm vibing with that. Let me see if I can change my tune a little bit, if you will.
I dig it, brother. I dig it all the way, man. That's sexy cool, Jimmy. You are sexy cool. You talked about sexy cool, and everyone who's listening and watching may think, sexy cool. What does it mean, man? You said sexy cool is a mind state. It's just not, how you look or anything. It's a mind state. Tell my listeners more on sexy cool and the meaning of it.
So it's the way I want to explain it is, for me, sexy cool is not about the clothes that you wear. Okay. Sexy cool is not about the car that you drive, okay? It is about a mindset. It is a state of mind. It is the confidence. It is the epitome of the confidence that you have about yourself. When you are at that level, it's not about being conceited. It is about when you walk into a room, you change the frequency of that room because of your vibe. That is sexy cool. It ain't about the car that you drive. It ain't about your jewelry. It ain't about how much money you got. We're going to flip it. My job is to help flip the word sexy cool so that it doesn't sound like something that we grew up with in a different connotation. To me, sexy cool is when you are at that epitome of yourself. that self-awareness, that self-love, that I don't need necessarily validation from somebody else to tell me how I feel about myself. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
When I discover myself, when I am confident of who I am in my own skin and my uniqueness and authenticity, then you have reached sexy cool. And I have met a lot of people that haven't gotten to that level of sexy cool, but when they hear me speak about the definition of it, now they want to start radiating their vibe to get to that point because they love it. And that is the sexy cool energy that we bring to the table. It is not about how you look. It is about how you feel about yourself. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. It doesn't matter if you're tall or short, heavy set or thin. It doesn't matter. To be comfortable and unique in your own skin, in your own vibe, in your own core of the essence of who you are, is the definition of sexy cool.
I dig it, my brother. I really do, man, because you spoke on it. It's like you said, it's not a feeling or you know, just how you look or whatever, man. It's just, you know, a vibe. You know, people would think, you know, oh, man, you sexy cool. You just think you being conceited. Nah, man, I know who I am and I know my vibe today, man. So I love it, man. I love it. What keeps you inspired?
What keeps me inspired, man? Reaching 5 million vibes, man. Every day I wake up, my mission is to reach 5 million vibes in this universe. That inspires me on my podcast every day that I wake up. Every episode, every guest that I have on, every time that I hear that the Sexy Cool Lounge has a new downloaded episode in a new country, what inspires me is to touch as many vibes in this universe with nothing but just positive energy and good vibes only, man. That inspires me every day. I am on a mission to reach at least 5 million vibes, 5 million souls, and just say, hey, let's continue to put positive energy out into this universe, man, because Lord knows we need it right now.
Definitely do. Really definitely do, man. You got to have something inspired, and that's definitely dope right there, man. Definitely dope. I ask that question every week because everyone always tell me, man, that I'm inspiring and, that you're doing it, man. I can do it, or, such things like that. So that's definitely dope. That's definitely dope. Hey, yo, Jimmy, for everyone who's listening and watching this week here on EB Radio and YouTube, you guys, man, for real, sit tight. We about to take a quick commercial break here on the podcast, man, here on the radio. And yo, when we come back here, we're going to finish the show with my man Jimmy with some sexy cool vibes, man. We radiate some good vibes, positive energy here this Wednesday on the podcast. Yo, man, don't go nowhere. You're listening, you're watching to the 1130 podcast.
Let's get it. You know me. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed.
You put a lot of time, energy, and effort into creating your podcast. We believe you should be rewarded for that. Introducing Ads by Anchor, a better way for podcasters to earn without compromising the listener experience. There are 3 flexible options. First up, ambassador ads. Once you're eligible, you can start earning money by telling others about Anchor and your podcast. Then there's automated ads, which allows creators to tap into top brands through the Spotify Audience Network. Simply select where you'd like sponsor-read ads to appear in your show. They'll be automatically inserted and tailored to listeners' interests. And for Anchor creators with the highest listener engagement, there's premium sponsorships. We'll match you with brands that want to advertise on your show. You pick which ones to read for in your own voice. Podcast monetization is within reach for more creators and easier than ever with Ads by Anchor. Made for everyone, powered by Spotify.
Welcome to EB Radio.
Yo, what up? This your boy Kenneth Stones, a.k.a. Coffee Weaston.
This your boy D.O.E. Good Brother Bowl.
And we are the Dirty Hills. You already know, man, you tuning in to 1130 podcast. Mm-hmm. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Dude, that's my job. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Yeah. And you have been Dirty Hills approved.
What it really cost you when you grind from the bottom, then it feel more awesome. Don't be scared of us. Just approach with caution. 1130 podcast, nigga, is you watching from the city?
Yo, we back here on EB Radio and YouTube. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the commercial break. I have my guy, Sexy Cool Jimmy. Yes, he's the host of the Sexy Cool Lounge podcast from New York, Pennsylvania. Joining me on this show, man, chopping it up. Like I said, with some positive vibes on this Wednesday. For real. Let's get back into the show with my man, Jimmy. Jimmy, man, you were a bodybuilder, man. I see a couple of pictures of you, man, and you were looking real buff. And you know, like I said, we were just talking. I'm a big wrestling fan, and a couple of wrestlers, you know, definitely transformation from bodybuilding into wrestling or such. But how did that go, man? You know, you were a champion also.
Yeah, listen, so back in the day, and we're talking back in the day, brother, bodybuilding was a huge part of my life for about 7 or 8 years, man. And all natural, amateur. And it just was something that started from being a personal trainer and a perfectionist. So the step for me was, as I was training people, I just started to get this itch for wanting to be bigger and better. And through that, I found the love of bodybuilding, which is sculpting yourself in a way that most people, from a consistency standpoint, a genetic standpoint, sometimes aren't able to do. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't do it because of that. I did it for myself. I did it for the challenge. I did it for the adventure of seeing how far I could take my body from one step to the next, and the journey in that. So it was a wonderful experience. I met some really nice people. The bodybuilding community is a loving community, just as us as podcasters are. We support each other. It doesn't matter what your genre is. It doesn't matter what your vibe and your topic is about. The fact that you're a podcaster says it all. So in bodybuilding, it's the same way. Doesn't matter if you're a female bodybuilder, male bodybuilder, if you're a fitness model or whatever, the fact that you train, the fact that you are able to stay consistent with the diet, the fact that you're able to take your body and sculpt it in a way that you are the master of the artwork. Your body is the artwork, it's the canvas. And you are the artist, if you will. That in itself makes you a part of that community. Doesn't matter if they're older bodybuilders and they're younger bodybuilders, man. They're male or female. Doesn't matter. The fact that we're all like-minded in the mindset of we know what that journey is about is a beautiful thing, man. And sometimes if you're not privy to that, you can look at it from afar and you can have like a different concept of it. You might think it's conceited, you might think it's this and the other, but once you really start to peel back the layers of the onion on the situation, you'll see that, man, it's a loving community. It's about taking something that's a vision in your head of your body, your canvas, and turning it into something visually amazing. Yeah.
Hey, man, that's dope. That's real dope, man. I said to myself just a few moments ago, next time I go to SmackDown, I know if they need me in the ring, I got a tag team partner. I'm calling my man Jimmy, man, for real.
Listen, before we move too far on, I just got to give you some of my wrestling knowledge, man. So back in the day, some of my favorites, and I'm going to start from back in the day to like now. So okay. I'm going to throw out some names at you if you don't mind. I'm gonna go with Bruno Sammartino.
Okay.
Jimmy Snookerfly, Jimmy Superfly Snooker.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Chief J Strongbow.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I grew up in that era of wrestling, and then that turned over into Sergeant Slaughter, the Iron Sheik. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then that brought us into like that modern day, The Rock and John Cena. You can't not say wrestling without saying the Hulk, in NWO and all of those favorites, the Four Horsemen. Okay. Mm-hmm. I grew up in that era.
Legendary.
Jake the Snake.
Oh man.
Okay. Roddy Piper.
Oh man, okay. Roddy Piper.
Okay. Man. So when you want to talk wrestling, and when I first like started following you, those were the names of some of the good times as a kid when I would look up and watch wrestling on Saturday morning. You were taking me back to that era in my life. And that's how I really started to follow you, brother, was I would hear you talk about, some wrestling stuff, and, you would take it back maybe to one of the SmackDowns or the, what's the Super Bowl of wrestling? WrestleMania, man. Yeah. I remember those days, man. So it was good. And I love you for letting me reminisce on some of my childhood, like idols as it relates to wrestling, man. Cause those were the ones that I remember. And I used to be like, man, Chief J Strongbow, boy, he would do that dance and hi-yow.
Yeah, man, for real. I always say it, man. Everyone was a wrestling fan at one point, whether they watch it back in the days, like you said, Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, the beginning of WrestleMania times, or, just, or whatever. I even, had a guest on who was just coming into wrestling. And it's just, it's so awesome to kind of like see that. But, different stories from people, who go way, way back. My mom used to watch it. She used to love the Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog.
He had the chain around his neck, right?
Yeah. Her favorite matches was a steel cage match. It got serious when the steel cage matches came down. So yeah, man, wrestling is always, always with me, man. Always. And you guys, man, we're gonna move on here on the podcast. It's time for the 1130 podcast hot seat. Hey, yo, Jimmy, I got 6 questions for you, and we're gonna roll.
Oh, let's go, brother.
All right. What do you usually say to yourself when you failing at something?
Get up and let's keep it moving.
Okay. Get up and let's keep it moving.
Plain and simple.
Okay. Cool. All right. What is the difference between living and existing?
The difference between living and existing is you just out here. You just out here day to day. Living is being able to appreciate the sunshine, the water, the flowers, the smell of whatever it is that you are in the environment of, and being able to do what you want to do with no drama. To me, that is living. Existing is I just wake up in the morning. I do something and I go to bed. And I wake up the next day and I do something. Living is living with a purpose, okay? Existing is, okay, I woke up this morning, I went to work, okay, I go to bed, I get me something to eat. Living is that I do something that was adventurous today, that I do something that radiated my soul and fueled my fire to move on. Absolutely.
I dig it, man. I definitely do. Describe this year in 3 words.
Amazing, challenging, and thought-provoking.
Thought-provoking. Okay, yes. Amazing, and definitely was, man. Definitely was. I learned that, speak things, and I know it's cliche, everybody said, speak things into existence. And, when I started, starting the podcast in late 2019 in December, I said, 2020, was going, whether, was kind of like the worst years, in a couple of years, but I was like, 2020 was going to be my year. And man, it took off, you gotta like speak it into existence, so definitely feel what you're saying. If we learn from our mistakes, why are we also so afraid to make a mistake?
Because we're creatures that don't like to be critiqued, and we want to be perfect from the gate. From the start of the gate, we want to be perfect, whether we admit that or not. No one likes to fail. No one likes to not be good at something that they actually put effort into. But failing is where champions are built from. You want to be a champion, but you're afraid to fail. How can you truly be a champion if you've never failed? So sometimes you have to struggle and you have to learn your craft and you have to learn really what your passion is about. You're not going to start out the gate being at the top or being at the epitome of what you want to do or feel. But we're afraid to fail, because if we fail, the challenge then is, how strong do you get up? And there are a lot of people that truly don't want to get up. You have some people that will get up. You failed, I'll get up, okay, because I'm on my journey. But then you have some people that say, oh, I tried it. Oh, it didn't work for me. You know what I'm saying? They're afraid to fail because they don't want to, they're afraid that if they fall down, they may not get back up. Fall down 7, get up 8 times.
Okay, I dig that. That's you dropping gems here. I dig it. Okay, what celebrities would you want to play your parents in a biological movie about your life?
Oh, okay. Denzel Washington as my dad.
Okay.
And I would say, as my mom, I think I would go with what's her name? Felicia.
Okay, Felicia Rudd.
Felicia Rudd? Is that her name?
I'm guessing though.
The one that was on the Cosby Show.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Right there.
All right. That'll be a dope movie though. That'll be a really dope movie. I'll buy some tickets to see that though, for real though. Okay. If you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would be the message?
My message would be to love yourself enough to radiate your vibe. Plain and simple. Love yourself enough to radiate your vibe. Be inspired and inspire other people.
Okay. All right. Okay. I dig it, man. Like I said, Jimmy, thank you for joining me here on the 1130 podcast. It was an awesome time vibing with you, man. Dope energy as always. Before you go, thank you once again for joining me on the show. Any questions? Any shout out to anything you'd like to say?
I just want to tell you, man, that I am so proud of what you do. I'm so proud of the consistency that you bring to the table and how you reach people, brother. I've been watching you for the longest time, and I can tell you, man to man, podcaster to podcaster, I'm so proud of what you do. I'm so proud of the people that you reach and the audience that you have that follows you. Continue to do what you do, because nobody does what you do, brother. And what you do makes a difference, and it is making a difference. And it's having people watch you like myself. And sometimes not everybody always says that they watching you, but you got people watching you in a positive way, brother. And I'm proud of what you do. I'm proud of the consistency that you bring to the table with it, and just keep doing it because you're making a difference, brother.
Thank you, man. I really do. I appreciate it. I try to be very consistent, man. They say one thing, you trying to go after something, man, be consistent at it. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. I appreciate you so much for coming on the show this week here on the 1130 podcast. For everyone who's listening on EB Radio, and for everyone who's watching, Jimmy, tell everyone where they can catch the Sexy Cool Lounge podcast at.
You trying to vibe with the Sexy Cool Lounge, man? The best place to go is the www.sexycoollounge.com. You can follow the podcast on any one of your podcast platforms, and you can definitely reach out to me through Instagram at Sexy Cool Lounge. If you have any questions about anything, hit me up on an email, sexycoollounge@gmail.com. But sexycoollounge.com is where I'm at. Follow me, and let's keep some positive energy into this universe, brother.
All right. You guys, man, for listening and watching. You guys go to www.sexycoollounge podcast, man. For real, get all the vibes and all the energy from my guy Jimmy. For real, this was an awesome time, man. Chopping it up with you. Once again, thank you, man, for joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast.
Thank you for the opportunity, brother. I really appreciate it, man. Continue.
No problem, man. No problem. Anytime. I appreciate you, Jimmy, for stopping past here on the 1130 podcast this week. Like I said, man, it was a little short notice. I hit him up. It's like, yo, man, we down to be on the 1130 podcast this week. And he was like, yo, man, what time? And I'm there. And I appreciate it so much, man. It was an honor. He invited me on his platform, the Sexy Cool Lounge. You guys, man, go to the Sexy Cool Lounge podcast.com and listen to some episodes. Go download them for real. He available in over 30 countries, though. Like, man, that's dope, man. For real, that is dope. And man, just everything my man Jimmy was saying, man. Positive energy is a must. Good energy is a must, man. And them vibes, man, for real. You gotta have it around you. I don't know if I said it quite best earlier, but like I was just saying, if you got your electrical on, that's good energy, right? That's good energy. You don't want too many people in your house, man, cutting on the switch, flickering the switch, turning on lights, man. That's bad energy right there. You don't pay no bills in here. For real, leave my thermostat alone. For real, like that's bad energy when people in your house just messing with stuff for no damn reason. Like stop, quit touching shit. Like for real, quit touching shit. But yo, man, all the way, good energy all the way, positive vibes all the way, each and every Wednesday here on the 1130 podcast, man. For real, this was a dope one, man. Another dope one. Back at it, episode 101. Once again, thank you to everyone who tuned in last week to episode 100, man. The big 100. I'm all excited. And yeah, man, it was a dope vibe, man. Chris, Helen, Gator, Aretha, Quan John, man. Yo, man, he always coming through dropping them gems. And yo, my man A Millie, man, for stopping past, man. Dope video, man. It was smooth, man, for real. And I want to thank EB Radio for allowing me to bless that last Wednesday, man. 2 hours, man, 2.5 hours here last week's show. It was dope, man. If you haven't already checked it out, you guys, head over to YouTube or right after this episode, if you're watching on YouTube, check out the big 100 episode of the 1130 podcast, for real. But you guys, man, we're going to move on here on the podcast. I hope everybody stays safe. This past Sunday, it was Halloween, and a lot of people went trick-or-treating and dressed up as some favorite, characters, I would say the least, though. One costume they was like banning at some schools, definitely in like New York, man, was the Squid Game. I was called last week. I said Squad Games. For some reason, when I first initially saw the series on Netflix, I was just calling it Squad Game. For some reason, why, I don't know. But yeah, Squid Games, man, they was banning that costume at an elementary school, because of the games they play in, Squid Games, stuff like that. But yo, man, I ain't about to give my kid that, though. Like, he shouldn't even be watching it, even though that shit is good, though. But he shouldn't even be watching it, man. But yo, man, I hope everybody had a blessed Halloween. Y'all. I remember when I was a little at Halloween, man, I was a Power Ranger. I was a pirate at one point. And I remember, growing up when Scream just came out, everybody had the daggone Scream mask and stuff. So, man, oh man, it's real good to see, people still, knock on the door. I kind of like play little scary music to scare the little kids. They were like, oh no, I won't knock on that door. For real. But you guys, man, like I said, I hope you guys had a safe and dope Halloween. It is November now, so yo, what you guys cooking up for Thanksgiving, man? For real, what you guys cooking up for Thanksgiving? Yeah, I can smell it all over. I can smell it. It's 3 weeks ready. It's 3 weeks in advance ready already. I know baby gonna be cooking something good too. I already know. I'm about to get off the podcast and ask her what's she cooking. But you guys, man, before I go, it's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yes, WTF moment of the week, man. It come out of Florida. For everyone who's listening on EB Radio, you guys may have heard this story and seen the video as well, though. But yo, man, it was this Amazon driver, man. He is jobless now. Yes, jobless. Don't have a job after this. My man was, caught on the video. Now, maybe the Amazon delivery truck was just sitting there for just a little bit too long, I guess, maybe, or maybe they seen the woman come in. But yo, the Amazon delivery guy is jobless. As you guys see this video right here, he was letting this lady out of the back of the delivery van. Now, speculations was going on, what was going on, but he held the door open. She jumped out all excited and everything. I mean, I don't think she was, trying to get some packages. I mean, he stopped and delivered there, right? But hey, she got more than some packages, I guess, though. Hey, yo, my man was like, yo, I'm an Amazon delivery. Let's do the damn thing today, huh? Hey, yo, this is wild right here, though. How you gonna risk the job, though, like that, bruh? Like that, though? WTF, man. WTF. That's the WTF moment of the week, man. I ain't about to risk my job delivering these packages and bring shorty. And then come on, man. Come on. Hey, yo, man, I'm about to head on out of here, you guys, man. Hey, yo, this has been a dope show. This has been a blessed one, as always, here on EB Radio and YouTube, man. Killing it each and every Wednesday. Y'all want to shout out my EB Radio family, man. Ride the Wave that's killing it each and every Wednesday, man. I love it, man, what you guys are doing. The Honestly Helen podcast. Once again, thank you, Helen, for stopping by here on the 100th episode last week on the podcast. And also shout out my girl, Tanya, from the Notorious Moms, the podcast. Thank you so much. I know you had a dope time on that vacation, though, for real. I know you did. And all the DJs, man, and everyone else, man, EB Radio always got the dope vibes, man, for real. Always dope vibes. Before I was about to do the podcast Sunday, man, they just killing it, man. The rotation is just jumping, man. I'm digging it. Shout out to my guy Bar, man, for real. Yo, before I go, you guys, man, don't forget to follow the 1130 Podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the 1130 Podcast. Yes. Like the 1130 Podcast on Facebook. Subscribe. Yes, once again, subscribe to the 1130 Podcast YouTube channel. Yes, like it, leave a comment, and do all that great stuff. Tell a friend about the 1130 Podcast. For real. Man, it's been an awesome one. The 1130 Podcast, talk pro wrestling, as my man Jimmy was talking about wrestling a little bit, man. I'm a big wrestling fanatic. If you are, you want any chats on pro wrestling, tune in each and every Friday. The 1130 Podcast, talk pro wrestling. Wherever you get it's available wherever you get your podcasts. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, and you can watch it on YouTube on the 1130 Podcast YouTube channel. If you would like to be a guest here on the podcast, email me. That's the 1130 podcast at gmail.com, or just DM me on social media so we can work. For real, man. Also, you guys, I got this dope hoodie on, man. Hit the link in the description down below on YouTube. And if you're listening on EB Radio, obviously you can't see me right now. Head over to the 1130 Podcast Instagram page, man. Get a hoodie, get a shirt. It's get a little chilly though, but if you still want a tank top, get a tank top. Some new gear is coming soon. For real, man. Support the 1130 Podcast. I appreciate it so much, man. For real. Man, it's been a dope one, man. It's been a dope one. Once again, shout out to my guy Jimmy for being here on the 1130 Podcast, man. You guys can catch the Sexy Cool Lounge Podcast, all new episodes each and every Friday. Visit sexycoolloungepodcast.com. I'm out of here. Stay blessed, stay safe. Give all the glory to God, man. Won't he do it, man? For real. Won't he do it? Yo, it's your man Dre, a.k.a. Dre on Wheels, and I'm out.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 Podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 Podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one.
He the one, nigga.
So Breeze, baby.
He the one.
Who with me?
So Breeze, baby.
Let's get it. You with me? Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed, we ain't got no problems.